What's up, everyone? Welcome to Power Play with CJ. I want to focus in on the collective moves that the Vancouver Canucks made as an organization in free agency. Obviously, talked signing Ryan Miller, signing Radim Verbata, and why I think they completely screwed up the situation. I think you start with the Miller signing. Well, I mean, you got to look at where the Canucks are in terms of their, cycle of for an organization. You look at from 4 years ago till a year ago. Essentially, they were a legitimate Stanley Cup contender. They had a solid window there. They went to Game 7 of the final in 2011, lost to Chicago in 2010, and LA in 2012, and was it? And then again in 2013, they were bounced out of the playoffs by San Jose. I think you look at the way they screwed up the goaltending situation. You have two good goalies in Corey Schneider and Roberto Luongo, then you end up with none. And we'll get into Ryan Miller later. And then when you traded Schneider, you were still, on paper anyway, a cup contender. Why didn't you, and I can't fault them for getting a top 10 pick, Bo Horvath, who we'll talk about in a second. Can't fault them for doing that, but at the same time, why not try to bolster your team in the hopes of getting over the hump in the Western Conference and possibly winning the Stanley Cup. That move, hindsight's 2020 with that. Then they trade away Luongo, and they have a miserable season to John Tortorella. Ryan Kessler gets traded, and the Vancouver, they're really in a full-scale rebuild. Why not go all the way? Why not blow it up, tank next season, get Horvath, get Shinkaruk, get Jake Virtanen, get guys like that in the lineup next year. Tank it, go for McDavid. I don't know. I think a lot of times these guys have too much pride, the general managers, and I think Jim Benning should kind of, just do that. The fans understand that, you're doing what's best for the long-term good of the franchise, but, give bigger roles to younger players. Let them sink or swim. Get a solid player in, what could be a superstar, McDavid, and, go from there. Sign a Ryan Miller. What does that do? Radim Verbata, okay, he gets you 25, maybe 30 goals alongside the Sedins. I mean, I wouldn't even be opposed to trading the Sedins. I mean, just make it all the way. Get all the assets you can. Give them a chance to win a Stanley Cup somewhere else. And, because by the time their careers are over, it's a long shot that they, will be able to hoist the Stanley Cup in Vancouver just because of where they are, in the timeline of their career and where the Vancouver Canucks are as an organization. But, with Miller and Verbata, this team, maybe they make the playoffs, once or twice the next 3 years. Okay, cool. Then you're cannon fodder for St. Louis, LA, Anaheim, Chicago, team like that. So I think they should have just swallowed it, gone with a blow up, and go from there. You're just punting the inevitable. You're just putting off what's going to happen eventually. You might as well just go ahead and do it. I think it's kind of like Calgary. They held on to Iginla for too long. They didn't get the assets they could have gotten back a few years earlier, and they got a little bit of a rebuild ahead of them. I mean, they have some really, really good young players, but at the same time, you can't you can't discredit how much better they could have been sooner if they had traded Iginla, 2010 or 2011, 2012, somewhere in that time frame. But that's just the way it goes. I mean, that you got to look at it from every angle. And quite frankly, I think Vancouver would be better off blowing up this team, getting youth in the lineup, and then trying to go for it with a whole new look. This era in Vancouver Canucks history is over. This legitimate Stanley Cup contention era is over. And if you're going to be bad, you might as well be really, really, really god-awfully atrocious. But, we'll see what Benning has up his sleeve. Hoping that something breaks for the best. But, for the sake of Vancouver fans, because, you hate to see a team stay down. You want to see teams get up out of their rebuilding process and, have a front office staff that makes moves to help make those improvements. I don't see it here. I see a team that's fine with mediocrity, and will be going down that path for the the foreseeable future. If you're not going to be a legitimate contender, you might as well suck. But we'll see what happens. Anyway, that's all on some sort of the power play with CJ on the Vancouver Canucks and how they've screwed up their rebuild. Stay tuned for more episodes throughout the offseason and beyond. Later, guys.